Welcome everybody to another episode of Decentralized Chain. I'm Firoz, your host, and we have a very special guest with us today. This wonderful person is the CBDO, that's CBDO and not CBDCs, of Mintlayer, a layer 2 solution looking to bring DeFi onto Bitcoin. So I'm super excited to welcome Michael onto the show. We've got some great questions lined up to understand a bit more about Mintlayer. Michael, welcome. Thank you for joining us. How have you been?
Oh, thank you so much, Fidos. Thank you for having me. I'm really good. I'm really good. Thank you, and a pleasure to be here.
Well, the crowd I can see are happy to have you here. We can see them. Make sure you're smashing up the likes, guys. Hit the like button, type Mintlayer in the comments. Let's get started. So look, Michael, let's jump straight into it because I'm sure everyone's very eager to understand what Mintlayer is all about. So let's start with the basics, to give everyone a bit of a quick understanding. I mean, tell me a little bit about Mintlayer. I mean, what is it that inspired you guys to create it in the first place?
Yeah, I can just start giving a high-level brief about what Mintlayer is, like an intro. Mintlayer is like we are building a Bitcoin sidechain, a layer 2 on Bitcoin. And we have been building on the protocol for more than 2 years now.
Okay.
And we are currently around 30 full-time Bitcoiners who are working on this project every day. And it's very exciting, and we are bringing something new to the Bitcoin people out there, and we're gonna launch our testnet this summer. So yeah, I'm super pumped about that.
That's
But
pretty interesting though, because because again we see because here what you're doing actually is you're looking to bring DeFi onto Bitcoin, right? I mean that's kind of like the angle that I'm sort of seeing it from to a certain extent, and we see whenever we hear about DeFi, it's mostly synonymous with Ethereum more than anything else, right? Everyone's doing DeFi on Ethereum. Everyone's doing DeFi on layer 2 solutions off Ethereum. So it's quite interesting to, hear that we've got a side chain being built for Bitcoin in order to, bring DeFi to, I'm going to say, Bitcoin maxis. I am
exactly.
curious though, how does Mintlayer make Bitcoin better for DeFi?
Yeah, maybe I should just again like go back to what the goal of Mintlayer
Yeah.
is, and we want to build like the protocol for the decentralized financial ecosystem that is built on Bitcoin, because we are Bitcoiners. We believe in Bitcoin. We believe Bitcoin will be here in 10 years, in 20 years, and in 80 years. Bitcoin will still be here, but we don't know about all the other protocols who are being built out there because it's so insecure, like who are gonna last the next 5 years, next the next crypto winter, who is gonna survive, and who are gonna attract the builders and the projects. But we believe Bitcoin gonna be around here for the next 100 years. So why not build DeFi on Bitcoin? And that is exactly what we are doing. So our vision is to become the new secure standard for DeFi projects to build on Bitcoin. And so we are building all the tools for developers to explore the outer reaches for Bitcoin's capabilities using the layer 2 technology and smart contract and dApps and NFT and much more will become a reality on Bitcoin. And that's exactly what we are building right now. So you can compare to like the Lightning Network is the payment solution on Bitcoin, right? And with Mintlayer, we want to be the DeFi solution on Bitcoin. That's kind of
Okay.
our goal, our end goal.
You know, it's interesting. Look, we're talking about DeFi. There are those out there that, and I said before, DeFi gets associated with Ethereum. DeFi gets associated with L2, like AVAX, Optimism, all of these, in order to make it cheaper and faster to DeFi on Ethereum. I'm I'm just curious in terms of when we look at fees, costs incurred to do like for example, if I do DeFi on Ethereum, I know it's going to be costly, especially if you're somebody with who has a small capital to play with, right? Because any transactions can quite easily go up to into the region of $20-$30 at a time, for example. So I'm curious from that angle, what makes Mintlayer stand out from the rest?
Yeah, again, I'll say we are building our protocol from scratch. That means everything is optimized for the Bitcoin blockchain as well. And our protocol is built by UTXO based. So it's same programming as the Bitcoin. That means we have some truly core value proposition on Mintlayer that you don't see anywhere else. One of them is that we're gonna be creating a DEX, a decentralized atomic swap, where you have the native original Bitcoin who can be swapped with any tokens minted on Mintlayer. So you can have the real world asset mint a token on Mintlayer and swap it directly with Bitcoin with no intermediary. So it's kind of truly interesting, as I believe, because as we know, if I think most people agree on like Bitcoin gonna be here in 50 years and 100 years, right?
Of course, yeah.
So why not use the original Bitcoin like on Ethereum if you still are playing around with DeFi on Ethereum, because right now there is no other great alternative. But on Ethereum, if you want to play around with Bitcoin because you truly value Bitcoin, you have to wrap it into WBTC, right? And the same as the current Bitcoin sidechain you see today as well, they also have a wrapped token or a federated token. But on Mintlayer, we use the original native token. That's what we're gonna bring into the ball game. Like we don't need any intermediated or any smart protocol to wrap a token or federated token. You can use the original Bitcoin on Mintlayer for any token swaps.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, one of the other things that you touched on it earlier before. You said, Lightning Network is obviously the solution in order to, do peer-to-peer payments on Bitcoin. How does Mintlayer work or integrate with Lightning Network then?
Yeah, one thing is just like we already have our Mojito wallet out there, and also like we in future we also will have like the Lightning Network as a payment solution on Mintlayer, but we will also integrate it into our protocol. So in future we will aim to build DeFi and protocols with Lightning Network. That means suddenly you just don't have like a fast TPS as transaction per second, right? But you're doing it on the Lightning Network speed, so you suddenly have like 1 million GPS instead of all other fast protocols out there. So we are gonna aim for building as much as possible into the Lightning Network, so that it's gonna be integrated into our protocol as a Mintlayer. So that's how we're gonna benefit our protocol with the scaling solution with the Lightning Network, and we believe it's gonna be the future for payment and DeFi and everything to try to put it into the Lightning Network. After we have the Taproot and Taro and kind of things, it make it possible to mint tokens as well on the Lightning Network, right? So we wanna benefit about that and integrate that into the protocol, so you can mint token and potentially send it around and play with DeFi around with a TPS on more than 1 million. So that's what we are working on right now. Again, we have a huge team working on that right now, so it's exciting. And yeah,
one of the things that stands out to me is, when we look at DeFi, one of the main things that we always tend to see or hear about is, hacks that happen, right? Loss of user funds, contracts that are exploited, for example. So I suppose it leads me on to my next question, which is around, safety and security. I mean, how safe and secure is Mintlayer? Do I as a user of the protocol, have full control over my capital and data?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say like security is hugely important to us. Like we do everything. That's also why we haven't shipped the testnet yet, and all product we like really want to make sure everything is ready and secure, and we also get it audited by an external companies and everything. So it's really security is important to us. And one thing we also gonna secure our protocol is by decentralization. So decentralization is via node runners who want to run a node, and it's going to be cheap and it's going to be easy to run a node. So you can basically do it from a laptop with a simple setup. For that, we're going to decentralize the completely network. And besides that, we also have block signers, who is actually the staking mechanism for creating the next block, they're gonna earn rewards in ML tokens as well. So it's also like a security on the protocol itself. But besides that, we also like really highlight that self-custody is super important.
Yeah.
So right now we already now working on integration of Tracer and Ledger and like hardware wallet and everything. And again, like the completely protocol is open source and permissionless. Everybody is welcome to audit and build on Mintlayer with us. Everything is available on GitHub. So yeah, open source and self custody and decentralization is how we're gonna have a safe and secure network at Mintlayer.
Well, that's always reassuring to hear. I know you touched on it briefly earlier, but what are some of the real world use cases or opportunities that we can see for Mintlayer?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Like again, we have one of the things we have the token issuances on Mintlayer, right? You can of course create tokens. So those tokens, it can be everything. It can be like you can have like security tokens, you can have utility tokens, you can have NFT tokens, you can also have privacy tokens. On Mintlayer, we have 3 different token standards, as I just mentioned, and those token standards can be used for many different things into smart contracts and into DeFi. One thing is just like we have the decentralized exchange, which makes it super convenient and easy to swap everything directly from the Bitcoin to any tokens you issued. And that could be real world assets. It could be like trading or option or derivative platform. It can be payment solution, business to C or B2B or whatever it's going to be, a lending and borrowing protocol and NFTs and all kind of things. And right now we are really looking into, and I'm a huge bullish on to create like the real estate business into tokenization and that way play around with, because it gives completely new possibilities to invest and to lease and rent and all those things into the real estate market. So that's just a few things we're gonna build on use cases.
Actually, it's interesting you talk about real estate market actually, because it is one of those narratives that is heavily being spoken about now, which is RWA or real world assets and getting them tokenized on the blockchain actually. So I'd be super interested to see how that all pans out. So very exciting stuff actually.
Yeah.
As we can see, we've got in the community, everyone's hitting up the likes, everyone's talking about Mintlayer. I think a few questions coming up now that I'm being asked is, how can the community get involved with the Mintlayer ecosystem? I suppose people just want to know what's the best way they can contribute and participate, actually, more than anything else.
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm happy to hear that. But yeah, we of course are really focused on, we want to grow our ecosystem and also the community and attract developers as well, because open source development is really in our heart, and that's the way to go for the long future, right? But so it's kind of 3 different things. But if you start with the ecosystem, like attracting projects and builders and everything to build on Mintlayer, there we have like 2 different programs available. We have like an incubator program, which we have a partnership with Launchpool Labs about that, where we're going to focus on the early stage projects to build on Mintlayer. And by that, we can assist these early stage projects with funding, with software development, legal advisory, business model, tokenomics, or marketing, or growth strategy, or everything. So we have a whole tool, and Launchpool Labs, our partner, gonna assist those early stage projects to get out there and actually build the stuff and be ready to put it out there. So yeah, one of them is like the incubator program, and the other thing is also we have the accelerator program, which is more like for the experienced team, or maybe they already have a business on other blockchains, but want to build it on Bitcoin and Mintlayer. So of course we can assist them with the same thing, like funding or software developing as well. So we have like those 2 different programs we want to attract to Mintlayer. And yeah, and to participate in the program, it's just via our website. You can send an application and we'll get in touch with them. And to attract the community, we also have like from time to time we just had, like last week we had like a competition regarding a questionnaire on I think it was on Discord or on Twitter, where we have some question and you can win some rewards in our ML token as well. And again, like, we are very happy to attract all kind of people to Mintlayer. And we also have a grant for open source developers, so everybody is free to build on Mintlayer. It can be building on the protocol, or it could be building a wallet or block explorer, whatever to build everything. We'll love to assist you and help you to get started, and also probably gonna create a grant for your work.
That's awesome. So there's so much. I mean, there you go, community. There's so many ways that you can get involved. Whether you're building, whether you're using, whether you're testing, there is clearly something in it for everybody, which is absolutely awesome. Look, I mean, all of this sounds great, but surely there must be some challenges and limitations that you've faced with Mintlayer. Anything that comes to mind?
Oh yeah. Like, I think like all projects out there, just like we are in need of developer talent, right? So that's a huge bottleneck for all companies out there, and us as well. So we still have several open position available on Mintlayer. So if any developers out there who want to join the Mintlayer and Bitcoin team, then feel free to reach out to us. We will love to include more developers so we can speed up our process as well. And yeah, we have like the testnet coming up, as I already mentioned, that it's only like weeks away. And yeah, we have the issue or the challenge, just like to attract projects building on Mintlayer and Bitcoin. So it's a good challenge for us to get out there and really advise about the value proposition on Bitcoin and on Mintlayer as well, because it's kind of connected. So it's really good. But another thing that's really important also, when we mention about the real estate and everything, I think the reason it's not like so much hype about the real estate yet is because there is this concern about the regulatory in US, in Europe, in Asia, everywhere, right? So that's also what we're working on Mintlayer right now, because we are having a Mintlayer institutional arm who are focusing on this one to attract the large corporation and institutional players and governments to be involved and potentially build on Mintlayer in the future. Because again, Bitcoin is a commodity. Potentially everything else is going to be a security. We don't know yet. So we're going to see what it's going to end up with. But again, we are working on that one as well, regarding to the regulatory issues we see now.
That is the $1 million question as to whether everything else is a security right now. But actually, interestingly enough, I think you spoke about regulation and sort of regulatory needs and compliance. So I suspect in the EU, it is getting a bit easier, especially with MiCA regulations in place, to kind of give a bit of guidance in those spaces. So we're certainly moving in the right direction. And I think as other jurisdictions, other parts of the world start, releasing what regulation means, what you can and can't do, I'm sure this journey will become significantly easier for crypto as a whole, not just Mintlayer, but the wider decentralized ecosystem. Really inspiring. It's really inspiring to hear everything that you've been doing up until now with Mintlayer. Just for our viewers, for the wonderful people in the comment, any resources, guides that you can recommend for people to just learn up a bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say like the main thing is go to our website, mintlayer.org, because we have linked to all our channels there, and GitHub, and Discord and Telegram and Twitter, which are gonna be our main guidance to our community. Like Twitter for the average people, and then we have Discord for the more technical question. Especially after we're gonna launch our testnet, of course, we're gonna have a lot of questions and everything. I think that's where we're gonna have our Discord to help with that one. So yeah, feel free to reach out to us and anytime, because we have people around and available for any question you have.
Excellent. Well, look, Michael, thank you so much for joining us. And just before we wrap up this interview, which has been super exciting and interesting to hear, any last words for all of our viewers? And before you say that, guys, make sure you are smashing the like button. Hit those comments up. Michael, over to you.
Thank you so much. But yeah, just to close up, I'll just say that we have the staking program. It will be live very soon. We have the ML tokens available on Gate and MEXC. And again, we have the testnet coming up just few weeks away. So the question is, what can actually be built on testnet? So we will have the native token available. We'll have NFT tokens available. So potential projects can actually build wallets and NFT marketplace and exchange and trading platform, lending and borrowing platform as well. So already on the testnet, it will be available to play around and see what it's going to be capable of doing on building on Bitcoin. So super interesting. And again, if you want to sign up for any of the programs and interested in building with Mintlayer, then we have the application available on our website. If you go to the, I think it's called the ecosystem tab, there you can send the application and everything. But yeah, otherwise feel free to reach out to us or to me, and I'll be happy to be in touch with you. And yeah, Fedor, thank you so much for having me here. It was really a pleasure.
Well, hopefully this isn't the last time we have you here either. So definitely looking forward to further updates. Guys, please smash up the likes. If you haven't, make sure you go and check out mintlayer.org. DeFi on Bitcoin. It's pretty impressive, guys. It's pretty impressive. That's all I'm going to say. And until next time, we'll see you all on the next episode. Thanks for joining us, Michael. Thank you to the viewers. See you all later.
Ciao.